In today's program, Thailand's opposition parties outline the government's failures in a joint statement. The next general election could be held as soon as 4 months, and a survey reveals how Thai travelers feel towards the Omicron variant. Details on these stories coming right up. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest headlines in Thailand and beyond. In our first story, corruption, an economic meltdown, and budget mismanagement were among the things that opposition parties are attributing to the current administration under the leadership of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. Thailand's six-party opposition bloc issued a joint statement outlining failures over the past 3 years, including mismanagement during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the recent statement, opposition parties highlighted what they say was mismanagement by the Prime Minister during the pandemic, leading to business closures, an economic downturn, and even massive corruption over a medical glove procurement scam, which Thai PBS said led to the loss of more than 100 billion baht in government funds. Prayut's government is also being accused of restricting people's rights and liberties during peaceful pro-democracy protests. Emergency orders limiting the number of those allowed to gather in public, said to be in an effort to prevent COVID-19, were imposed at peak times during the pro-democracy movement. One order was imposed before dawn one morning as protesters were gathered outside the government house to put pressure on Prayut to resign. Several were arrested. Another issue mentioned in the statement was the multi-billion baht lawsuit filed by a company in Australia over the shutdown of a gold mine in Thailand. Other issues were a failed crackdown on the illicit drug trade, a record level of borrowing due to budget mismanagement, and a drop in the ranking of Thailand's education system in comparison to other Southeast Asian nations. The next general election could be held in as soon as 4 months, with opposition parties predicting elections between March and July of next year. A coalition of opposition parties met yesterday to discuss the current administration's failures and put pressure on the ruling government. The coalition saw Move Forward Party, Pheu Thai Party, Pheu Chat Party, Thai Liberal Party, and Thai People Power Party all come together. MOs from the parties issued a statement listing 9 areas the government has failed and vowed to discuss them all in detail during the next general debate. Coalition parties have been seen making the rounds in key battleground regions and meeting with constituents, and opposition parties see this as a sign of a coming election, possibly sooner rather than later. They also point to recent pushes to revise the election format by expediting constitutional amendments as further evidence of an imminent election. But not so fast, as the coming election may be pushed back as the Supreme Court is expected to make a ruling on whether Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha can run for a third election despite a 2-term limit in the Constitution. On the other side, the ruling Palang Pracharat Party is gathering and expanding their members, announcing a new MP joining the party yesterday to bring their total number to 120. Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan, the leader of the PPRP, hinted that more high-profile figures will be joining the team in the near future as well. Rumors of PPRP key figures defecting to the Phumjai Thai Party, including the party's Secretary General Thamanat Promphao and Deputy Leader Wirat Ratanased, have been quashed. Thamanat vowed to spend the remainder of his career in the PPRP, which says they have a list of 350 candidates ready for the next election. The Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand is ordering all airlines in Thailand to ban masks that have exhalation valves. Nok Air officially announced the measure yesterday. The authority also added that passengers and crew should wear either a medical face mask or a cloth face mask for the entire flight. According to the WHO, a mask with an exhalation valve is not suitable to wear during COVID-19, as the valve can be an access for particles to pass in and out. Apparently, Bangkok is the best city in the world for a so-called workation. At least that's what Holido, a website for vacation rentals, says. The listing, which had Phuket as number 10, was widely shared in Thai media and touted by the Tourism Authority of Thailand. The Workation Index rated 150 cities around the world using a broad variety of metrics. They consider the costs of renting a one-bedroom apartment, the cost of a cocktail after a long workday, Wi-Fi speeds, hours of sun each day, leisure activities available, and many more essentials. Bangkok won the top spots in the survey based on a variety of attractions and activities, affordable cost of living, high-quality facilities, amount of proficient English speakers, and many international companies with offices in the city. Holido recognized the financial and cultural advantages of a workation in Thailand, saying both Bangkok and Phuket offer an attractive balance of quality of life and affordability. Tim knows how it's done. A survey carried out by the Tourism Authority of Thailand shows that, for the most part, people are not letting the Omicron variant affect their travel plans. The poll's findings show that domestic tourism is set to generate 5.7 billion baht during the upcoming long weekend, with over 1.8 million trips planned. A report says that while Omicron has caused some anxiety, on the whole, travel sentiment remains very strong. TAT Governor Yuttasak Supasorn credits the government's hotel subsidy scheme as playing a significant part in the increase in domestic bookings. Survey respondents have indicated that they feel confident traveling domestically given the COVID vaccination rate is now above 50%. The survey's findings also show that average hotel occupancy around the country is expected to reach 40% this weekend. In terms of where they're going, the survey shows that eastern provinces can expect to welcome over 360,000 visitors this weekend, generating revenue of around 1.4 billion baht. Northern Thailand is expected to get 1.3 billion baht in tourism revenue from over 270,000 domestic travelers. Provinces most popular with Thais include Chonburi, Kanchanaburi, Chiang Mai, Nakhon Ratchasima, Khon Kaen, Ayutthaya, Rayong, and Prachuap Khiri Khan. Thailand Tourism with SHA, the blandly titled event the Tourism Authority of Thailand and Pattaya City created jointly, is set to run on Pattaya Beach from December the 17th to the 19th. The event is scheduled to include dozens of vendors and attractions in hopes of encouraging tourists to visit Pattaya, a quest that will likely be aided by the recent decision to finally allow alcohol in restaurants in the city after months of petitioning and protesting. SHA is the certification that businesses must apply and be approved for, proving that they meet the standards the government laid out to prevent COVID-19 from spreading. An additional SHA Plus rating is designated for those businesses that meet even more stringent requirements, including all staff being vaccinated. The festival is designed to build confidence in tourism safety as businesses adhere to these COVID-19 safety procedures. Officials say they hope to raise awareness of the SHA program, though most arriving travelers to Thailand are required to book at least one night in an SHA Plus certified hotel, so international travelers would be aware of the programs before coming into the country. The festival will also include traditional tourism staples like showcasing the world-famous cuisine of Thailand with local cooks and famous chefs, plus cultural demonstrations, concerts, and local products. With levels of air pollutant PM2.5 rising in Bangkok, city officials are considering pausing construction on the BTS SkyTrain and closing schools in an effort to improve the air quality if it rises to unhealthy levels. Officials plan to also be more strict when it comes to enforcing laws on vehicle emissions and advising the public to carpool or use public transportation to reduce the number of vehicles on the road. In the capital, the fine particulate matter of 2.5 has been reaching levels this week that are classified as unhealthy for sensitive groups. The levels are estimated to increase in Bangkok throughout this month and into January. If pollutant levels rise to unhealthy levels, city officials plan to halt construction on the SkyTrain for around 5 to 7 days and cancel on-site classes at public schools for around 2 weeks. Those who work in the public sector will also be encouraged to work from home to help reduce the amount of vehicle emissions. Before we go, I just want to say that I really appreciate all the people who came to say hi to me this past weekend when I was in Bangkok. It really gives me a lot of encouragement when people tell me that what I do here is helping them, and it really motivates me to keep on going. So me and the Thaiger team will always do our best to keep you informed and entertained in these very interesting times. Thailand News Today will be back tomorrow, and meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.